Why is it that the thing we desire most, deep, loving connection, is so often just filled with drama, conflict, and, well, disappointment? We chase this ideal, right? But for so many of us, relationships feel less like heaven and maybe more like a continuous, really exhausting battlefield. Today, we're launching a deep dive into some ancient wisdom that offers a pretty radical solution. We're drawing from the work of Don Miguel Ruiz, exploring the Toltec path to relationship mastery. It fundamentally redefines how we view love, fear, and personal freedom. Our mission is to take these, profound philosophical concepts and turn them into really actionable insights for you.
Absolutely. The Toltec, they were revered throughout southern Mexico, known as women and men of knowledge. Think scientists and artists focused on spirituality, enlightenment, famously gathering at Teotihuacan. That's the place named for the transformation when man becomes God.
Yeah.
Their whole worldview, it's built on this single premise. Life is nothing but a dream. And if everything is a dream, then, well, we're the dreamers. And we can choose to be the artists of that dream. The goal here is to show how we can master our awareness and switch our personal dream from one based on suffering to one created by love and freedom.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if we want to change the art, we have to start with the canvas we have right now. And that canvas, according to the Toltec, is wounded. But first, let's talk about this idea that we are all masters. We usually think mastery means being good at something positive, right? But the source material suggests many of us have mastered something, well, much darker.
Exactly. You are already a master. You have this innate power to create and rule your own life. The problem is that many people have mastered suffering. We're highly skilled in it, really practice. We practice negative behaviors, anger, jealousy, this deep-seated self-rejection, sometimes for decades, until they become automatic. It's like a flawless, reactive mastery of pain.
That's quite a dark image, viewing our collective world as essentially a mental hospital, a place where everyone is mentally sick. If we follow that analogy, what exactly is the nature of this sickness? Where does this collective mental poison come from?
Well, Ruiz offers a really powerful metaphor here. He asks us to imagine a planet where everyone suffers from a severe, painful, infected skin disease. That's apparently what our emotional body looks like. We're sick, not in the skin, but in the mind. It's sick with a disease called fear. Our emotional wounds are infected with what they call emotional poison, manifesting as the obvious things like hate, envy, anger, but also the quieter pains, sadness, hypocrisy, chronic insecurity, all that stuff. And this creates what the Toltec call the dream of hell. It's a collective existence defined by continuous judgment and emotional pain. We don't just arrive here naturally. We're taught this system through what they call domestication. It's the structure of punishment and reward we experience, starting way back in childhood, which teaches us how to suffer and how to wear the social masks we need just to gain acceptance.
It sounds like we internalize the rules of the illness just to survive inside the hospital, so to speak. We learn to suppress the wound just to fit in, which brings us to the internal mechanism that keeps the suffering going. This dream of hell seems to be managed by something specific. The parasite.
Yes. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the parasite isn't some external demon. It's our own belief system. It's the information we internalize during that domestication process that makes us suffer. The sources actually call it a garbage eater. And its food is specifically the emotions that come from fear. It is literally nourished by your sadness, your jealousy, your guilt. And to ensure it always has food, the parasite sets up two powerful allies right in our own minds: the internal judge and the victim. The judge is always measuring us against this impossible standard of perfection, the image of what we should be. And because we inevitably fail this impossible standard, well, the victim steps in, feeling unworthy, needing punishment, crying, "Poor me, I'm not good enough."
Wow. The result is just this cycle of intense, nonstop self-abuse. You can never forgive yourself for not hitting an unattainable ideal. And to protect these painful, festering emotional wounds, we develop this sophisticated denial system, like a wall of fog, that makes us perfect liars.
Exactly. We lie to ourselves first, and we believe those lies because the truth, that raw pain of the wound, is just too intense to face directly.
And this internal war, it fundamentally sabotages our attempts at external relationships, doesn't it? If I'm lying to myself and hiding behind this wall of fog, how can I possibly connect genuinely with you?
The connection becomes based on projection, not reality. It can't be real. When two people enter this kind of relationship dynamic, their entire interaction is built upon multiple false images. You've got the man's image of himself, his external mask, and the woman's image of him, and so on. The sources count at least 6 false images operating all at once. Their relationship is based on managing those lies and fears, not on actually seeing the true person beneath all that fear.
That explains why relationships based on need feel so volatile, so unstable. The source describes this dynamic as being like a drug addict and the one who provides the drugs. That analogy is chilling. It suggests that even the desire for deep connection can become inherently a dynamic of control. How can someone listening start to spot that power imbalance in their own relationships if they're so blinded by need?
Well, the need itself creates immediate fear. The addict, the one who loves the most or maybe needs the most, lives in constant terror that the provider will leave. That fear breeds jealousy, possessiveness, control, effectively giving the provider complete manipulative power over the relationship. The relationship stops being about shared joy,
Yeah.
It becomes about managing withdrawal symptoms.
And we see this desperation play out all the time, like in the ordinary couple who just play ping pong with emotional poison. One partner, maybe having accumulated poison from a bad day or some sense of injustice, seeks to hook the other's attention. Once they dump their garbage, the other person reacts, gets angry, and sends the poison right back, maybe plus their own added resentment. It's just...
A continuous, toxic, exhausting loop, triggering in defense over and over. It's the currency of the dream of hell, basically.
And the truth is sobering. Most relationships trapped in this dynamic are based like 95% on fear.
95%. Wow. Okay, so what does this all mean for us then? If fear defines the default relationship for so many, we need a complete paradigm shift. How do we transition to the mastery of love by actively shifting tracks away from that 95%?
We have to systematically contrast the track of fear with the track of love. Let's start with our sense of obligation. The track of fear is just full of have-tos. I have to please you. I have to do this for the kids. I have to stay. It's all resistance. And that leads directly to suffering.
Right, whereas love is characterized by want to. You choose to do things out of pure desire, which turns them into pleasure and fun with no sense of resistance dragging you down. And that ties directly into expectations, doesn't it? Which is such a massive source of conflict. Absolutely. Fear is loaded, just loaded with expectations. We think, if I do X for you, you must do Y for me. And when that expectation isn't met, boom, we feel hurt and we immediately assign blame. Love, however, love has zero expectations. When you operate from love, the mindset is simply whatever happens is okay. You're free because you're not trying to control the outcome or the other person's choices. You accept reality as it is, not as you demand it should be.
Okay, another key contrast then is respect versus pity. In the fear dynamic, there's this fundamental lack of respect, which often manifests as pity. We say, poor me, or, oh, poor you. When I pity you, I'm basically saying, I believe you're weak, and I feel this need to try and make your choices for you. I try to control you because I don't really respect your strength.
That's a crucial distinction. Love is described in the source as being ruthless, but not cruel. Ruthless in the sense of being without pity, without feeling sorry for the other person. Love has compassion, yes, but it respects you as strong enough, intelligent enough to make your own choices, to take responsibility for your own destiny, and, to fall down and get back up without your partner needing to carry that burden for you.
And finally, we have the matter of conditions. Fear is conditional. I love you if you let me control you, or I love you if you make me happy. It always has strings attached.
Exactly. And love is unconditional. It's simply, I love you the way you are, and you're free to be the way you are. The moment we accept that we don't have the right or even the ability to change anyone else, we free both ourselves and the other person. It's incredibly liberating.
This whole shift, though, it requires a really radical internal change, moving from scarcity to abundance, which is beautifully captured in that magical kitchen metaphor. If self-love is the core ingredient, what does it practically mean to be a millionaire in love in daily life?
The magical kitchen is your heart. It's seen as capable of generating unlimited love, primarily for yourself. If your heart is constantly full, you are a millionaire in love. So when someone approaches you and offers you this tiny conditional piece of love like, I'll love you if you sacrifice your dreams for me, you just laugh. You decline politely because you don't need it. You cannot be manipulated because you are already sufficient. You're full. And this just reinforces the core teaching. Never, ever put your happiness in someone else's hands. If you give your happiness to someone else, the moment she doubts you or the relationship, she can always take it away or break it. Like in that story of the man who gave his lover his star. You are responsible for your own half of the relationship, full stop.
So the perfect relationship then isn't about mutual transformation or fixing each other. It's built entirely on acceptance. You accept your partner exactly as they are, their humanity, their quirks, their current phase. The book says, like a dog or a cat, you just accept them.
Yes. And you focus only on your half of the relationship, your side of the street. You are not in the relationship to clean up your partner's garbage, their emotional poison. That's their work. The goal is to become a dream master by controlling your reactions and making choices that lead to enjoyment and peace, not drama.
But is it really possible, though? When you're in a committed relationship, to not take your partner's emotional poison personally, especially when it feels directed at you.
Awareness is absolutely critical here. When your partner is having a difficult moment, really dealing with their accumulated emotional poison, you have to recognize that it's the parasite, their wound system, possessing them. That wound is acting up. It actually has nothing to do with you, even if it seems like it. That awareness gives you the power to not react, to not grab that poison and send it back. It allows you to give them the space they need to deal with their own dream, their own stuff.
So we arrive at the core takeaway. The mastery of love isn't some high philosophical concept debated in classrooms. It is entirely dependent on immediate, consistent action. The daily practice is self-acceptance and self-love.
Precisely. The sources remind us that everyone has a price, and that price is measured exactly in self-love. How much do you value yourself? If your self-love is low, your tolerance for self-abuse and for abuse from others is automatically high, because deep down you feel you deserve that low offer. If your self-love is high, your tolerance for abuse just drops to zero. You won't stand for it.
The ultimate freedom, then, it starts when you realize you are already abundant. You have to open your magical kitchen and refuse to walk around the world begging for love.
And finally, maybe something to reflect on, the ultimate Toltec truth mentioned in the sources. When you strip away all the domestication, the wounds, the judge, the victim, you find out you are not the body, not the mind, not even the soul in the way we usually think of it, but you are a force. You are life itself expressing itself. If you look deeply into the eyes of another person, you can see the manifestation of life shining in his eyes, the same force that's in you. So how does recognizing that fundamental shared force, that ultimate humanity, change how you practice love and how you honor the person standing right across from you?
That's a profound thought on the nature of being. Thank you for diving deep with us today.